We don't know how many days we have, and we have to live with joy and hope and faith every day, just like if we did have only 3 months left to live.
The one thing I was thinking was like, please do not make me shave my head. Like that cannot happen whatsoever. It wasn't like, am I gonna live or die? I tried cold capping and being hormone positive. It's just like it's really just tough on your hair. Like there's not really many ways to keep it at all. So I cold capped unsuccessfully and then lost my hair and really realized through that process that how I looked was actually the least interesting thing about me. When that was all stripped away and I was bloated and I had drains from my mastectomy and little chicken hair, I still felt like awesome. I was like, I'm still so cool.
Hadn't had babies yet. I wanted to be a mom. I had all these dreams. I had all these things. Then all of a sudden, everything stops.
Breast cancer was the worst, best thing that ever happened to me because I've met so many incredible people and found a real place to put my heart.
You're still spending days of your life while you're fighting for it, right? So there's joy there. There's beauty there.
Kylie, Sarrah, and Miranda, you are literally saving lives with your voices.
So first of all, thank you so much for coming. Nathalie, you've created such an incredible event. We're so appreciative. Thank you guys all for being here. We are so happy that you're here. And thank you for continuing to support us, and we're so appreciative. For those who don't know, Breast Cancer Alliance is an organization that we're in Greenwich, Connecticut. And actually, it's our 30th year. It was founded 30 years ago. So we're very happy to be, yes, it is. And we fund very specific things. We fund innovative research, which is seed research that's too early to be funded nationally. We also fund breast surgical fellows, which is unique to us. We're the only organization that does that, which means we're asking more people to be breast surgeons so that when you have, or if you need to have surgery, you're getting it done by a breast surgeon. And the third thing we fund is screening and diagnostics for the underinsured and the uninsured. So we're making sure that everyone can have access to screening. We've been an organization for 30 years, and we've funded over $40 million.
Wow.
So we're small but mighty. So thank you so much for coming, and I leave it to Nathalie. So thank you, Nathalie. We're very appreciative.
So I also like to not only thank the Breast Cancer Alliance for being the reason for the season and the reason why we're here today. I'd also like to welcome and thank our amazing special speakers. Kylie is really the reason why we're all here today. No one can say no to Kylie. If you know Kylie, you can't say no. I mean, she's got a heart of gold, literally, and is wearing Monogram Mary's, where's Brooke? There's Brooke. The necklace that she created, so thank you. And Kylie is a mom, a breast cancer survivor, an awareness advocate, an artist, a designer, all of the things, and is very active in the Breast Cancer Alliance, which is why, again, we are here today. And Sarrah Strimel-Bentley.
Hi. I can't move my face, guys, because I had gum surgery. Not because I had Botox, which I also have. But I had gum surgery last week, so if you see me smile like this, I do have teeth. I just can't show them. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Sarrah is an ultimate multi-hyphenate. Sarrah is a former Broadway performer. She is a mom, a fierce fertility and breast cancer awareness advocate. And she's a yogi. She's the founder of an incredible organization called A Chance for Life, which supports women who are going through breast cancer with fertility preservation, which we will be hearing more about. And Miranda McKeon, who I just met today. I am so excited because Miranda is here to really share that breast cancer doesn't just affect women that are 40 plus, it affects younger women as well. Miranda was diagnosed at 19. She's now 24. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yay. Happy you're 24.
Is that weird that I like just like
No.
said her age in front of everyone?
No.
Miranda is also an actress. She was on the Netflix show Anne with an E and is an incredible content creator. You're doing so many things right now. That's everything,
it.
right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Advocate.
Well, yes. I mean, they're
Obviously.
all three survivors. So I also want to thank, in addition to my special speakers and you for being here, thank you. I'd like to also thank Bosco's. I don't know where Carlo is, but Carlo is the general manager here and has done so much to make this event happen today, yesterday, and this whole entire week. Ginny Media, a little shout out to my podcast agency over here. They came in from New York City to record us today, to do this live recording. Silvera, Bree is capturing content, both video and photos, that the BCA will be able to use for their entire 30th year anniversary. So we're here today because this is the Breast Cancer Alliance's 30th year anniversary. I think I shared a little bit about our remarkable guests, so I'm just gonna dive right in. To start us off, can you please share a moment during your journey that shaped how you live and how you just view life now? And I'm gonna start with Kylie since you're at the end.
So I am a 4-time metastatic breast cancer survivor. The 3rd time I was diagnosed with a brain metastasis, it was something called leptomeningeal disease, which is basically when the cancer cells begin to infiltrate your spinal fluid. It is very rare. There's no research. There's no standard of care. And you're generally given 3 months to live. My children were 7 and 2 when we found that out, and I was grappling with knowing them for just a few more months. It changes everything. What I have learned through that is that your days, we don't know how many days we have, and we have to live with joy and hope and faith every day, just like if we did have only 3 months left to live, because fortunately for me, that was not true. My daughter's turning 9 on Sunday, and my son will be in high school next year. But, you know, we have never stopped living like that since that day, that we thought it might be over.
Sarah, please share yours.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think every moment, right? Every moment of all of our days impacts how we move forward, right? And I think like our lives are a collection of those. And so I was diagnosed at age 38. Out of the blue, I'd just fallen in love after dating in New York City for 20 years. I'm sure you all have done that and how much fun it is. And I was like, is he ever going to come? And, you know, he came and life was good. We just bought like a house on the beach and we had a dog. And then bam, I found a lump underneath my armpit, the size of a walnut. And it sent me into this, you know, fight for my life. And hadn't had babies yet. I wanted to be a mom. I had all these dreams. I had all these things. I was like building a yoga empire, you know, and then all of a sudden everything stops. And all that you're thinking about is how I put one foot in front of the other to stay alive, right? And then through that journey, your life is still happening though. And so I think, you know, I came up with this term joy mining, which I'm sure I'll talk more about as we go through this podcast. But, you know, is you're still spending days of your life while you're fighting for it, right? So there's joy there. There's beauty there. You're still having beautiful meals. You're still seeing sunsets. So, you know, I think that changed how I now live every day of my life, which is even in the really, sorry, I'm going to curse, Nathalie, you know me, I've been on your podcast, even in the really shitty days, even in the really hard times, every single day there's life to be lived. And so after I've gotten through treatment, moving forward, now on a day like this morning, and you asked me to share this.
Oh
and
yeah,
again,
share about your morning, please.
I have a 2-year-old
singers
toddler.
coming.
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old toddler who is a miracle after breast cancer, born via surrogacy. We'll talk more about it. I'm sure his name is Chance because he was my one chance to have a baby. I had one embryo. And I'm naked this morning and I'm trying to have Chance be body positive And so, you know, we hang out naked together. So we're hanging out naked. Our babysitter is late. I'm trying to get ready for this event, you know, doing my hair and makeup. And he just keeps going, mommy butthole, mommy butthole. And I was like, yes, it's my butthole. And so he's like, perfect height, looking at my butthole, and the dog has stolen the turkey in his hand, and then all of a sudden, mommy butthole, crying, dog turkey, mommy butthole, and then he's got the lipstick, and I'm like, what is going on? And it's chaos. And then he has a meltdown the size of Gibraltar, and then I am like, what is? And my stress is here. I'm like, am I gonna make it to Greenwich? Oh my God, am I gonna come to Greenwich and wear the wrong thing? You know, like whatever. And I'm here, and I just took a moment and I took a breath, and this is the point of the entire story. Is I was like, this is amazing. I am living. I am here to witness all of this. Mommy's butthole is here. I didn't say that. That's what cancer has taught me, that my butthole is here. And Miranda, what do you think?
Wow, obsessed. That's so great. Yeah. So many moments of life really feel like that.
Yeah.
I think for me, I had so many moments during my journey with having cancer that shook me and kind of like transformed the way that I see things. And a lot of that was in tandem with me just like coming up with my own thoughts and opinions and figuring out who I was, since I was 19 at the time. And I was going into my sophomore year of college. What was most troubling during that experience that I talk about all the time online was the fact that, like, even when I was diagnosed and didn't know what my staging was or anything, the one thing I was thinking was like, please do not make me shave my head. Like, that cannot happen whatsoever. It wasn't like, am I going to live or die? I was like, I just really don't want to lose my hair. And then when I was diagnosed stage 3, I realized chemo had to happen and that I was going to lose my hair. And I went to college at the University of Southern California. And if you know those girls, I remember actually getting into college, and my uncle, whom I love, has such a great sense of humor. He was like, Miranda, you better be prepared because you're going to be the ugliest girl at that school. Like, but like really valid. Like, because the girls there are like just like ethereal, like Dyson blowout every day to class, roll up out of bed, hungover, and like whatever. And they all had like Botox at age 14. I was like, this is a weird place. Nonetheless, I really didn't want to lose my hair. I ended up losing my hair. I tried cold capping and being hormone positive. It's just like it's really just tough on your hair. Like, there's not really many ways to keep it at all. Mm-hmm. So I cold capped unsuccessfully and then lost my hair, and really realized through that process that how I looked was actually the least interesting thing about me. And I had grown up acting and on camera all the time, was like in and out of school because of it. And I think I spent a lot of my childhood thinking that I was valuable because of the way that I looked, which then when that was all stripped away and I was bloated and I had drains from my mastectomy and little chicken hair and like my face was puffy and I literally didn't recognize myself, I still felt like awesome. I was like, I'm still so cool. And like, I'm still an awesome person. I actually saw a meme yesterday and it was like, this girl walking and she's like, oh, I'm having such a hard day. Like, let me call up my skinniest friend. Said no one ever. Like, literally said no. When has anyone ever said that? Like, oh my God, this sucks. Like, let me find my skinny friend. So ridiculous. So I still battle with that as being a full-time content creator and like seeing myself every day. And Sarah and I were just talking about preventative Botox. I'm 24. Like, probably shouldn't be part of the conversation, but it is. And anyway, so that like really reframed things for me. And I think I wish like all my friends felt like that, because I know all of us still in this room, we're taught as women, like what you look like matters, and men can age gracefully and we call them sexy because they have like wrinkles everywhere. But then a woman actress who's seen in the same spotlight, it's like not the same thing. Or someone has to make a note of it. Like, she doesn't have Botox. Why is this revolutionary? Anyways, that's my long rant.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we'll talk about Botox later.
Love it.
I have a lot to say on that. Okay. So you were actually, I'm going to start my next series of questions. Miranda, you were diagnosed at 19. And you may have already answered this a little bit, but what went through your head when you were first diagnosed? And knowing what you know now, what is something that you would share with women that are in their 20s about breast cancer awareness?
I was like, is this even happening right now? It was very movie magic moment. I just like couldn't believe it. I have no family history, and I discovered my lump by doing a boob scoop, as in like I was pulling out my cleavage. I was having a house party. I had a bunch of guys over, and I was like, come on, get them up. And then I was like, that's weird. And I brushed across the lump. I was obviously inebriated at the time, started sobbing, crying. I was like, I have breast cancer. Emotions cleared 2 weeks later, but I still got my screening done and all of that. I had a biopsy and ultrasound and mammogram, I think. And then when I got the results that it was positive, just complete and utter shock. Everything started really quick right away. And the second part of the question was, what would I tell? Like,
20
I mean, I really do shout it from the rooftops. So, and all of my friends now are educated on like every piece of what I've been through. But I would just say, know your body. Like, I feel like young women are taught to be so shameful about like knowing ourselves fully, whether it's like being comfortable with how you look naked or like even self-pleasure, like all of that stuff. But like, I would tell all my friends, get naked and stand in front of the mirror and like get to know yourself, because your baseline is the most important thing.
It's your butthole.
As your butthole.
Miranda's butthole.
Miranda's butthole. Yeah.
I'll stop talking about butts now, maybe.
It's going to be so much editing.
I wouldn't edit that out.
No.
I've got to get myself together. Okay.
We're never coming back to Greenwich, Miranda.
You're always invited. I love that you're keeping it real. No, this is real. So, Sarah, this question is for you. Tell us about the moment that you learned about fertility preservation and also your journey to chance.
Yeah. So, I can't, why am I crying already? I haven't started talking yet.
Because we have this effect on each other. I'm going to start
we
crying
do.
soon too. So I'm going to just try not to look at you.
Okay, I'm going to talk like this. So as I was saying earlier, I got diagnosed at 38. And after, in New York City, I was like, okay, I have like 5 good years to meet a guy. And my gynecologist of 20 years essentially was like, hey, listen, maybe next year if you don't walk in for your annual and you're dating someone seriously, we should freeze your eggs, right? And then I met James, and then I got a breast cancer, right? So we had never had that conversation about egg freezing, which is a separate thing later on. And so I'm sitting in my breast surgeon's office after I'd been diagnosed with stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma. And we had the big talk. Dr. Alyssa Port of Mount Sinai Dubin Breast Center, if you know her, you know her. She's the best. And it was during COVID, which was like also an added fun layer of this breast cancer journey. So we all had masks on. And my boyfriend, James, can you be James in this story?
James.
Thank you. So he's next to me and we're in our masks. And Dr. Port says, take your mask off. Like, so take your mask off. And she took hers off. She's like, so we're going to have a serious conversation now about what we're going to do with your breasts surgically. So we decided on a single mastectomy at the time, I would end up getting a double, which is another, talk to you for hours. And then she goes, okay, second order of business is you two look like you're really in love. I think I was actually like sitting on his lap. I said, yeah, you think? And she goes, do you want a family? And we were like, yeah, because we had dreamt of what our kids would look like, right? Our little girl would have wild curly hair like me when it's not slicked back. And our boy would be like him, very studious and a redhead. My husband is a redhead. Very buttoned up, James Bentley. His name is James Bentley. And so, yeah, I said, we want kids. And she said, well, we're going to have to talk about that. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is breast cancer. What do you mean? She's like, well, your treatment is going to be chemotherapy and radiation, and that could affect your fertility. So I'm already dealing with this diagnosis. I'm already dealing with the loss of my breasts now. And now you're going to tell me my babies? She goes, but you have an appointment. When you leave here, you're going to go to RMA of New York, a fertility clinic. And so then fast forward, you're with me. I have my breast cancer binder. We're walking down Madison Avenue. James and I now are sitting. You're James again. Hi. Our masks back on.
Hey, babe.
At a fertility clinic in the next, hour. And the fertility doctor looks at us and he's like, do you want to freeze your eggs or do you want to freeze embryos together? And I'm like, well, we have been dating 9 months. We're very much in love. But I'm like, shit, this is a New York City guy, investment banker bro. And I just was like, please don't leave. Please don't leave. I don't know. What am I going to say? And then he just spoke up and James said, we're going to freeze embryos. And of course I start sobbing. And I was like, he's all in, And then, we made the choice to freeze embryos together, which was better than a ring, in my opinion, right? And there's all these things that come with freezing embryos together when you're not married. Like, what if something happens? If you break up, who gets the embryos? That's sort of the fertility preservation piece. No one tells you about it. Thank God for Dr. Port asking me about it. Because if I talk to women now, I'm an advocate now, that's what I do. Every day women call me and say, I just got diagnosed and hadn't had their family, building finished yet. And I said, well, did you freeze your eggs? And a lot of them are in the middle of the country and their doctors never brought it up. And I said, well, it's not too late. We can go back and we can make sure that maybe there's, a lot of chemotherapy. You can, your fertility comes back depending on your age, depending on the type of cancer. And so that is something I scream from the mountaintops, like breast cancer diagnosis or any cancer diagnosis. Second thing you ask after, am I going to be alive? What are we going to do about this is, have you finished your family building? So I think, that's why I'm so passionate about fertility preservation. And there's a second part, but I feel like I'm talking a long time.
No, will you please share the story about how Chance came to be?
Oh, yes.
That's a beautiful.
So we are there and we decided to freeze embryos. And so I got my double mastectomy. And then immediately after, with my surgical drains still in, we did 2 back-to-back rounds of IVF at RMA, where they got 24 eggs. And out of those 24 eggs, we were able to create, I think, total like 14 embryos. And out of those 14 embryos, 2 made it to vitreation, which is the freezing, and 1 was genetically normal. And it was a little boy. They asked if I wanted to know. I said yes. And so I said, James, like, we have our chance. Before going into chemotherapy, we have our chance. And then he's like, Chance. And I was like, his name is Chance. And so we froze.
I always get the chills when you say that.
We froze Chance. And for years, I spoke to this kid. I spoke to him in the sky. I would talk to him. I was like, he lives in the Sunset. If you guys know Springs in East Hampton, he lives right over there where the sun sets from the beach. And for years, we would speak to him. And so we had to go through surrogacy because I wasn't able to carry again. Thank you, cancer. And so we had a surrogate. And she got pregnant because one thing I didn't say about Chance is that he was a day 7 AC embryo. And anyone that's gone through infertility, I'm with you. My heart is with you. I'm sorry. Day 7 AC embryos have a 20% chance of becoming a live birth. So all the prayers worked. Chance loves my butthole. He's here. And we had an amazing surrogate named Whitney, who is an angel. A beautiful African-American woman who lives in Richmond, Virginia, who is now Auntie Whitney. And that story is a whole different, that I won't, I can get into another time, but or ask me later. But yeah, that's my story.
Thank you for sharing, Sarah.
Thank you for letting me tell it. Thank you.
Really beautiful. Kylie, what is the hardest part about navigating motherhood through a breast cancer treatment?
Oh gosh. Okay, so I was 36 years old with a 3-month-old and a 5-month-old when I was diagnosed with stage 3. And, we weren't even through the, sleeping. We weren't sleeping through the night. We were still we were missing preschool half the time because it was just, we were still in those early days chaos. And I even remember when the doctor was like, you need to go get this ultrasound. And I was like, tomorrow or in a week, because I've got to find a sitter and all of these things. It was a lot. And so, when we got that call, everything changed. I had to rely on the kindness of my entire family. Our nanny quit her job, her real job, to be our full-time nanny. My mom moved in with us and slept on the sofa for 6 months while I was going through. I did 5.5 months of intravenous chemo. I was triple negative, BRCA positive. It was all the things. We just, this sounds so silly to say, but I think you get this. You just do it. I mean, it was not pretty. It was not what it was before cancer. We were a pretty like organized, happy house. It was easy, and then it was hard, but we just did it. And I was so lucky to have friends and family who cared so much about us, and it really took a village to raise our family for a little bit. My job was to get well, to be here for them, and to still, I'll echo what you said, Sarah, you still have these moments of joy. It's funny. I don't really remember that time as bad, and it was pretty awful, but I don't remember it as bad. I remember my daughter taking her first step. I remember my son graduating from kindergarten. I remember, them making messes, going to the first day of school, taking family trips when I was well enough. And we did it. We just navigated. That was it. Yeah.
And speaking of motherhood and mothers, your mom was instrumental in helping you bridge back to art. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. My background is actually in fashion design. And, I just had Maddie, that's the little, and had not really figured out if I was going back or if I was going to take some time. And then I was diagnosed. And so working was really sort of off the table anyway. And I was very sick from all of the treatment and the surgeries. And my mother had always wanted me to start painting again. It was sort of a first love. It was more of a secret love. It wasn't my profession. It was just something I did from time to time. And I think she knew that I really honestly wanted to someday just do that full time, but it never seemed to be the right time. And one day I woke up from a chemo nap and sort of, walked into our kitchen. We lived in the city in an apartment at the time, and there was like an Amazon box on our kitchen table. And she said, "Oh, something came for you." And I walked over, and it was a box full of art supplies. And she said, "It's not too late. This is not your end. This is your new beginning. And, this is what you've always lived for. So do it." And we sat down at the kitchen table and started painting together again. And it really got me through the darkest days of my life. And at some point, as my kids got bigger, they painted with me, and we would all sit around the table and make these huge messes, and little things became a little bigger. And as I was healing, my fashion friends were reaching out for illustrations. And before I knew it, little things were medium things, were big things. And 2022, I started selling art full time.
Wow.
Thanks, Mom.
What would you say to the person who you were before your breast cancer diagnosis?
To the person I was before my breast cancer diagnosis, I would say, gosh, it's going to be great, girl. No, who I was before?
Did you feel like you changed, right?
I definitely did change. And I would, obviously the hard things make you who you are in some sense. But I think I had a strong sense of self beforehand as well. I just love her. I wish she would probably go easier on herself. I'm not sure if any of you have kids at all in this room, but I grew up in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and I was put into I was in public school, but Ridgewood High School is a pressure cooker. And there was just so much pressure to be excellent as a kid. And none of it was put on me by my parents. All of it was just the environment. So I think for the parents in the room, the advice that I could give to you as a newly outgrown child, like young woman, I would say that kids are so resilient and soak up so much of their environment already, and they're already going to feel the pressure from their peers and from their teachers. So I think like as much as you can create a safe space for them at home and like be a soft place to land and not get too fussy about the grades and all of that, because they're going to come out fine. I'm really grateful to my parents that they were so easy on me. But I stressed myself out so bad and really just like felt this inner pulse to be excellent. And I think I still have a little bit of that. And that's what I continually tell myself. And I would have told myself then too, is like, take a deep breath. Like, it's okay to do nothing sometimes. I don't think that has anything to do with cancer, but some things just don't.
Well, it's maturity and learning. So, I mean, I think that actually does apply.
So true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to piggyback off of what you said too, because I was actually recently asked this in an interview last week about, do things seem smaller? The small things seem less important, or the big things seem bigger after cancer? And I was like, no, the small things, still are small. It's the same, because in the same vein, who I was before cancer is very much who I am now, just with like some big life lessons on top. And also who I was before breast cancer prepared me for this journey in a strange way. Like being on Broadway, a show would close and you were just resilient. Like you'd walk in the stage door and they'd be like, you don't have a job in a week. And you'd be like, let's go get really drunk and then we'll figure it out tomorrow. They would pull the floor out from under you and you get right back up and keep walking because you had to. Right. And so all of the life skills I had before cancer came in handy during, right? Because life is still happening. And so that's kind of part of my joy mining mantra. But I will echo what you said as well, is that but before, when some things would take me down, now I just have a bigger picture. I can step back and say, okay, we're here. We're alive. Maybe it's not that big of a deal I didn't get that role. It was before I would be like a puddle, with like my wine bottle on the floor. Now I'm like, okay, is that really at the end of the day, what is important in my life? Right? Because that's what you have to look at. And what is important in my life is is my family. My mother and my father came to take care of me last week. I'm 44, and these moments. So it helps just shine a brighter light on maybe let's be easier on ourselves, that we didn't get an X amount of likes on this Instagram post that we thought was really brilliant. Which lately I don't know what's going on. I'm like, I think
Algorithm changes.
So stupid, right? Does it really matter? No. So that's what I would kind of tell her. And I would also say, girl, freeze your eggs. A quick story. I was in Rock of Ages in the dressing room. I tell the story all the time. We were 30. All the girls in the Rock of Ages, there were 4 of us. We all just had breakups, okay? And we were all sitting there in between numbers, and we were all dressed as strippers because that's what we played in one part of the show. So we're all in our skivvies, having some water. And one of my friends, Katie Weber, she's like, hey, I think, should we freeze our eggs, guys? Because this is a thing. In 2010, they were just freezing eggs. And I was like, yeah, that actually probably is a good idea. We don't know what's coming down the pipe. And then my friend Erica was like, that's really expensive. It's probably 20 grand or something. And we're like, yeah, that's too much for us showgirls. We'll be fine, right? And so then we go between shows and we go to the Barney's warehouse sale, RIP Barney's. And we spend a couple $1,000s on Balmain boots that are a size and a half too big, that I twisted my ankle in one drunken night at a strip club. Another story for another time. And those could have been my babies, those Balmain boots. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, go back to younger me and say, freeze your eggs. If you have daughters, just do it. We figure out a way to pay for it, because you don't need the Balmain boots, but that would have come in handy, down the pipe. But I have champs, so it's all good. So.
What would I say? It's hard to come off of that.
Sorry.
I would say, sort of in the same tone, I would say you're perfect. Just you're perfect the way you are. And it's never not going to be a long road, because even without cancer, life is a long road, and there would have been some other challenge, but you are way tougher than and you're going to be great.
Thank you, Kylie. I mean, I should have known this one. I didn't even have to look down at it. Like, okay, I'm just laughing. Okay. How has your journey helped you begin all over again? Right? My podcast is called All Over Again. Sorry if I didn't mention that earlier.
You go first.
Whatever. You go first.
Oh,
Talk a lot.
How has my journey helped me start all over again?
Or begin all over again.
Begin all over again. I think it inspired so much bravery in me that I am not sure that I would have had. I also just think logistically, when I started, I had a platform before breast cancer because of acting work I had done as a kid. But then when I got breast cancer, I started sharing about it and really like practicing the strength of vulnerability, which is really uncomfortable. As you all know, we all practice vulnerability in our everyday lives, and it's so uncomfortable, and yet it can open so many doors. So I think when I started posting about breast cancer and really like this community that I already had online became very locked in, I realized that I was not going to have to do a 9-to-5 job as I had expected. I was going to go into like PR or marketing or something, and instead really took a bet on myself to start content creation full time out of college, which is either a good idea or a bad idea. We'll figure out if the industry flops in 10 years. So far, it's going great and I love it. But I think, yeah, it inspired a sense of like, let's get this life thing done like now and let's do it all. And I always say to people, you do not have to go through something life-changing or rattling to breed that within yourself. Because I think like, I actually always thought that when I was younger. I like grew up very privileged and like all chipper and sunny. And I was like, I wonder when this like bad thing will happen. I literally had that thought in my brain. I was like, when is it coming for me? Because I had heard all these people had like deaths in family and health issues. And yeah, anyways, the shoe did end up dropping. But it doesn't have to. And for a lot of people, it never does. And that's phenomenal. So I think like we can all be so aware of our blessings and know it doesn't take something life altering to wake up one day and feel like you want to start that thing you've always thought about starting, or have a conversation that you've been needing to have that will lift some of that weight off your shoulders. So I think it made me a lot braver in that regard.
You're so brave. I love you. Sorry, I just love listening to her talk. We've known each other before, just so you know. We weren't just like, let's be besties this morning.
We travel the world together.
Travel the world. We actually have.
Yes.
Did you just call each other's breasties?
I didn't say breasties, but that is a thing.
That's the thing. That's
okay.
totally-
Breasties.
Breasties.
We have our crew of breasties.
Yes.
You're in my breastie crew.
Love you.
Mine and yours.
Oh, you guys are so cute.
Come
Lots of heart-shaped frames happening right here. Okay, so Sarah, wait,
Yes.
can you please share with us?
I will answer the question,
Okay.
Nathalie, eventually. Eventually, I will get to the point. How did I start all over again? How did it help me?
How do you feel like your journey
Yeah.
moved you to begin all over again?
Totally. It gave me a new path with my life, with my career. I documented the whole thing in the breast cancer diaries and then in the surrogacy diaries when I went through that journey. And I wasn't sure why. Like, I remember at my biopsy, I took a video and I was like, it could be just a nasty little lump and nothing, right? And that started this kind of documentary of it. And so I put it on Instagram. And I asked my husband or my boyfriend at the time, I said, is this okay I share my story? And by sharing my story, like she said, we created this community of people, and I had a voice that to me was never like really important. It was just showing what was happening. But I realized how important it is to share our stories as women, especially. And so through sharing my story, I started becoming, developing my advocacy work and a motivational speaker, and I launched my nonprofit. And, I guess at the pandemic, like I had this yoga company. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, right? None of us were. We had to pivot, right? And this breast cancer journey pivoted me into my power now, which is storytelling. And I think all of us, and if you're here this morning, you're already on board with this, like community is everything. Female friendship and sisterhood is everything. And by sharing our stories together, we rise up. And so, that's really truly how it helped me find my purpose now. And through my nonprofit, we give full surrogacy grants to breast cancer survivors. So we give them $150,000. It's how much it costs to do surrogacy. Like, who can afford that? Like, we were like, James and I scraped money together to figure it out. But imagine like going through breast cancer, freezing your embryos or eggs, and then getting to the end and you have to use a surrogate, but you can't afford it. Like, imagine that, like getting through breast cancer, like my chance got me through it, right? So yeah, it's given me so much purpose in my life that, I never would have seen coming. So
Thank you for sharing, Sarah. Kylie?
And just to add to what Sarah said, it really does happen, like that you get through and you've used up all of your chips and your eggs or your embryos are not, you have no place for them. So what you do is incredible.
thank you.
It means so much. So when I was originally diagnosed, like I said, we were just in the thick of it with our kids. I really was just trying to put my head down and do what was best for our family and keep moving and sort of tidy up what was going to be an epic year of treatment and surgeries and all of the things. And then it's kept growing, and that year turned into 2 years and then 3 years and then 4 years and 6 years of chemo later. I finally came off of treatment. And at some point, the people in my life that were watching me go through all of this, they were like, what are you going to do with this? This doesn't just happen. You're coming out of something that you were not supposed to make it. Not only have you made it, you don't have any evidence of disease in your body, and you are healthy, you're well, and your kids are not trying to burn down the house, and you guys are married, and you guys are great. This doesn't just happen. So what are you going to do with it? And as a fashion designer, we sort of like to be in the back of the house. We don't really want to be in the front of the house. We're the ones in black in the back and putting everybody else out front. And so it was a really uncomfortable place for me to be at first. But I think, to both of your points, the moment you speak up and you say, this is what happened, this is real, it was not pretty, and it was not tied up with a bow, people are so appreciative. They want to hear that it was a shit show. Because it was. There's no way to get around it. It doesn't mean that there weren't beautiful moments and you learn a lot about yourself, but it was hard. And I think women especially need a friend that will sit with them, even if she's a new friend or a stranger, and say, like, let's bash cancer all night. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the bad things. Let's talk about, like the inappropriate laughs we've had in behind closed doors. Let's be more open about this and not make people feel isolated or lonely because they think they're the only one that is struggling through a tough time. And so it just became a place that I knew I had to be. And I think breast cancer was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I've met so many incredible people and found a real place to put my heart and know that it's driving something so important forward.
Thank you, Kylie. So we're here today because we are celebrating the 30th anniversary year for the Breast Cancer Alliance, which does so much for the community and spreading awareness and raising funds for needed treatment and support. So to that end, the three of you are incredible advocates for breast cancer awareness. And I'd love for you to share, what is something that you would want someone who is newly diagnosed with breast cancer to know that you wish you had known?
So many things.
Jump in.
Get a therapist. Don't be afraid of SSRIs.
What's an SSRI?
Like an antidepressant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Lexapro saved my life. Now onto Effexor. That really helps with hot flashes. Yeah, I would say get close and talk about it with your girlfriends. I am still so close with my friends from high school, and they were the ones who truly helped me through all of it. And I felt so annoying after a long period of time of talking about the same thing. And they still, to this day, 4 years later, give me so much space to talk about it. And I think I also didn't realize how like traumatizing it was for them in some right of that to happen to a close peer. So now that they feel like I'm good, they've started opening up some of the stories of like how they got together and how they were planning their support at that time. And it's healing for me to like hear the other side of it, as well as my parents. Like we did so much debriefing. This is actually something I would highly recommend. We had, well, it's not traditional at all, but my family all sees the same therapist. Like my dad has 12 siblings. Shout out Irish Catholic families. He has 12 siblings, and there's probably like 15 of us. We all see this woman named Ruth.
Ruth sees all of you?
Wasn't there a Dr. Ruth? There was a Dr. Ruth.
Yeah, Dr. Ruth.
But she was sex therapy.
Yeah, she's like not online, but
Yeah, Dr. Ruth.
Ruth has counseled like Holocaust survivors and the whole run of the gamut. This woman is a chamber of secrets, apparently. But we had Ruth come over to our backyard, and we scheduled her for 4 hours to do like a debrief with my family, me, my mom, my dad, and my brother. And we sat down, and some things came out, y'all. No, but seriously, we like to say like my family's completely different from the beginning to that end of that session. It made us like a unit. And I feel so close to my family members. And I think putting in that collective work to our family was really helpful. I don't even know what this question was. But
How would you help someone who's newly diagnosed? But I love this.
yeah, I would recommend that.
I'm like, give me Ruth's number, girl.
Yeah, she like has taken me off her roster. She deemed me too mentally well. She's busy, but my family members keep her busy. I'll tell you that. We all have that one crazy aunt, right? Yeah, but I think therapy is so huge. Medication is really big and helpful once you've tried all of the acupuncture and sleep nidra, yoga nidra meditations. And then friendship, so important. And I would also say like, this is a kind of an annoying one, but I really do think exercise is so beneficial for the brain. Obviously, there's so much data to support this, but I remember my oncologist at the time recommending working out during treatment. I was like, hell no. I thought the point of this was that I could take a few months off. And she said it will actually help your symptoms significantly to work out. So now when people ask me, one of the most asked questions I get is like, what should I get someone who has cancer?
Mm-hmm.
I love to give someone a cute little workout set. Maybe that's like insulting, I don't know, but I think it's nice. Like everyone loves a workout set, whether it's for after or then, like just as much as going for a walk. We all know how much like a walk can solve, but big proponent of that. And that's what's totally changed after me being diagnosed is my relationship with fitness has just changed so much. And I know there's a lot of conversations in the menopause community, which I am in medically induced menopause, so I feel like I can kind of vibe with you guys. But just so much about like bone density and muscle mass and all of that. Like I still can't really do push-ups, but I'm coming for them, and I'm also coming for pull-ups, and you all should be too, because it's so important.
Shout out medical menopause. I'm in a very cold flash right now, which is a welcome relief.
I'm like cold and sweating, super sweating.
That's why I don't have a jacket on.
Yeah, you won. You won the day.
My nipples are hard, but they're always hard. Thanks, breast cancer. Okay. So what would I tell someone that was newly diagnosed? I have like a little 3-step plan. First is the joy mining piece, which we spoke about earlier, which is to literally, like, it's not toxic positivity. Like, it's not. It's really going to be very difficult, right? It's going to be painful. It's going to be sad. There's going to be a lot of really bad things, but truly, truly do look for the moments. People call them glimmers. Our friend, Allison Hall, she calls them glimmers in your day because they're there. Like when I was fat and puffy and farting during chemo and bald, my boyfriend James would come in and just like say, good morning, the most beautiful girl in the world, and give me pastry and a coffee. So I held on to that. I was like, back pocket, thank you. In the moments when like my chemo leaked through my arm, I would like, so those moments of joy, they aggregate in your body, right? They're not silly, like joy mining. No, it's real. You lean on those in the really hard times. So that's number one. Number two is do not forecast. What happens is, so has anyone ever posted on Yelp? So like you post on Yelp or Google because you had a really incredible experience or a really terrible one.
So true.
Right? So no one is posting on cancer message boards like 100%, 5 stars, totally recommend this, right? So what are they? They're all really bad, like people who have had really hard experiences. And I get that, that's community. But I say stay off of things like that because you cannot forecast that that will be your experience. They're going to tell you a myriad of things that could happen to you. None of them may, or all of them may. So don't get ahead of yourself because you'll freak the out, right? Stay in the moment, stay present, do not forecast, and create your group of people, your community, your safe place. So find survivors or find people that are going through it that see the world like you do, right? So I'm not going to ask my most anxious friend, you know, about, no, I'm not looking at you like you are, because you're not. No, you're not at all. But, you know, so curate that support system and stay present. And then finally is what's going to happen is you're going to want to turn away from your body. And this is to Miranda's workout point. Like your body is literally trying to kill you, right? This cancer in your body is like, so you're going to, and then they're going to take your breasts maybe, right? And you're going to look not like yourself. You're going to lose your hair. All these things are going to happen to you. You're going to get these weird chemo side effects, like bumps on your arms. I have a scar I was telling Miranda about earlier. All these things are going to happen and you're going to want to just be like, bye body. You're going to want to divorce it like a bad boyfriend, right? Instead of doing that, turn towards it. So I would get on my yoga mat every morning during treatment and I would do it naked. You guys can kind of tell I'm like a naked human being. All these stories, I'm like, I'm a naked lady, but I am. But that naked lady would get on her yoga mat every morning and some days, why am I looking at you? Well, now, I can't. I brought it to, oh, I can't move to Greenwich. Well, oh, see, we have to talk. We'll talk later. Guys, I want to move to Greenwich. Okay, good. I can't be naked in Greenwich? All right, I'm back on focus. Welcome to Sidebar. You don't have to cut that out. I love Greenwich. I will bring nudity to Greenwich. We will have a nude club. So I'm on my yoga mat, and some days I do this gorgeous yoga practice, and some days I roll around crying. But I turn towards myself every day instead of away from myself. And that helped me move through the pain.
Lovely. Thanks. So I think for me, since I was a young mom, there are a couple of things I'd say, and they're very practical housekeeping things. Get your house clean before you start anything. Just get a good deep clean. If you have a friend that's really good at organizing, get them to come over and get you organized. It'll just take some of the weight off of you when you're thinking, oh my God, like my life is about to fall apart. I don't know how I'm going to do all these things. Just get someone to help. I tell friends that want to do like a meal train or something like that for people going through chemo, give them DoorDash gift certificates. A meal train is nice, but not everybody has room in the freezer. And a lot of times you're not eating, you're just getting things for the other people in your house. I lived off of bone broth and tea for like 6 months. And then what I would say to sort of in the same vein, you know, really love yourself. Like if that's getting like a really delicious lotion or body cream or something and just taking some time with your body and making yourself feel more comfortable, rest and, you know, exercise is so important. I just don't think that you can go on without a walk. It was painful some days to get up and go for that walk, but it makes all the difference. And be patient. It's like it's like so long and fast at the same time. It's so slow and it's so fast at the same time, but you do get to a better place. And so I would say, be patient.
How about a round of applause for these remarkable survivors and advocates? Yeah, great job. Thank you. Truly, Kylie, Sarrah, and Miranda, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you for all that you do, for your advocacy work, and for your voices. You are literally saving lives with your voices. So a huge heartfelt thank you. And also to the Breast Cancer Alliance for 30 years of supporting women like you. Thank you. And thank you all for being here.